Good evening, guys. Am I audible? Is my screen properly visible? Dear participants, can you please confirm? So today is day 15 of this Python virtual internship, and I welcome you all on behalf of Pantech elearning. Thank you. So can we start with today's session? Today is day 15 and totally it is a 20 days class. So we are in going to complete the 15 days. Nearly 5 days are left. And I hope yesterday you guys got the assignment update link and many of you guys have updated it there. So if you haven't completed that task, please make sure you update it there. So that's very important. That is what the record for you to, which means you have submitted. Okay. And regarding the third assignment, I have been giving you assignments on every 5 days. Okay. First assignment I gave you on the 5th day, and then the next one is on 10th day, and today is day 15, which means it is an assignment day. Today I will be giving you a third assignment, and it will include some audio input and also some tasks with the dataset, so which we are going to see today. So which means please listen the class in today's session. Please make sure you listen the class properly because we are going to see about pandas library. Okay. So this is a very important library for machine learning or data science in Python. So this is useful for handling the data. So what is data science? Okay, what is data science? Data science is getting some valuable information from the raw data. Okay, and it is done with the help of some tools like machine learning and some other things. And for these things you need data, and these data can be available in, like, it is available publicly available in many places. You can create your own also with the help of web scraping. Okay, or you can get it, which is commonly available in many sources online. So when you get these data sets, it may or may not be proper. Okay, and without this proper thing you cannot directly give it to the machine for doing machine learning stuff. So it should be proper, otherwise it can lead to improper predictions. So for that it is important, okay, first for you to understand the data. Okay, you want to analyze the data, and once you do it, you want to check whether it is correct, and if it is not, then you need to do pre-processing, and this pre-processing can be done efficiently with the help of pandas. Okay, so pandas will be a very important tool for greater applications. So we are going to see about pandas, and some of these things which we see in today's class will be there in the third assignment. So please make sure you listen the class properly. Okay, so we'll start with pandas. Can we start, guys? Give me thumbs up in chat box so that we can start our class today. Okay, let me start with pandas. So as I have already given you an introduction about pandas, pandas is a Python library for working with data sets, and it has functions for analyzing the data, cleaning, exploring and manipulate the data. It is fast and it has high performance and productivity. And pandas allows us to analyze big data. And regarding the data set, I told you, right, it may compose of nearly 1000 rows, okay, or 10,000 rows, whatever it may be. It can be a big large data, and you can use this pandas to clean that, okay, and do pre-processing and make them readable and relevant, which is very important in data science. Okay, so starting with the installation of library. So you want to install pandas, you can go with pip install pandas. And for today's session I will be using Google Colab only, because we are going to handle the dataset, and it will be better if you use Google Colab for this task. Okay, I'll be back into Google Colab. So once you complete the installation part, you can import pandas. Okay, and I'm giving a short name as PD. So why I'm giving? So when you are going to do this pre-processing, you will be using this pandas in many places, okay? And every time when you need to use something from pandas, you cannot type the entire name. So for make it easy, we are giving a short name with the help of as pd, okay? Import pandas as pd. So this is what the command we are going to give. And once we imported it in the name pd, we can use it with the help of pd dot. We can access all these things from pandas. Okay, first let me import pandas, then we can see about these things. Regarding the installation, you can go with pip install pandas. Since I already have it, it is going to tell me requirement already satisfied. Let me import pandas as pd. Okay, and this pandas now has lot of options. We are going to see one important option which will be the first step. So for example, if you want to use a data, which means you have to load the data in your Python IDE. Okay, and how will you load a data? So how these data sets are available? So what is this data set? Data set is a collection of information in a structured format. Okay, and these data sets are commonly available in CSV file format. If you are familiar with machine learning or data science, then you would have known it. Many datasets are commonly available in CSV file format if it is a text data, okay? And it will be in this CSV is opened with the help of Excel, which means it is nothing but rows and columns. Okay, collection of data in the format of rows and columns. I'll show you an example here. I'm having two datasets. One is a diabetes dataset. Okay, it is based on the patients, and one is a placement dataset. It is based on the students. Okay, let me open this diabetes dataset. And see here, this is the diabetes data set I am having. So this is medical history of all the patients, okay? So which means there are many columns in the name of medical history. It can be a skin thickness or insulin level or age and their outcome. So here the outcome 1 defines the patient has diabetes present, and the outcome 0 defines the patient has diabetes absent. And each single row defines one single patient's record. What is his pregnancy, okay, what is her pregnancy level, what is the glucose level, and so on. Clear, guys? Similarly, another data set. So these are data sets. It's available in CSV file format. You can check it. And to understand what is a CSV file format, see here it is in the Microsoft Excel comma separated value, which stands for CSV, comma separated value. So to find that, you can right click and click this open with, and if you go with notepad, okay, it is going to actually show you, see here, all these columns, okay, are separated with the help of comma. That's what the meaning of this, okay, comma separated value. So when you open it with Excel, it is going to show you in separate columns. So now we want to load this in our Python IDE. So how to do that? If you are using any other IDE like Python IDE or VS Code or any other OS IDE, then you have to copy the path along with the name of it with the extension. And if you are using Google Colab, and regarding the data set, I'll tell you this also, how to download or take the data set. I'll show you one common method. There is a website in the name Kaggle. You can open your browser and search for Kaggle, okay? So this Kaggle is a machine learning repository where there are many data sets and codes are available here. So once you go into it, you want to create an account with the help of your Gmail ID, okay? You want to create an account, you can search for any data set. If I search diabetes, okay, diabetes dataset. See here, there are many datasets. You can go and search any dataset, and it will describe. Okay, they will be having a description. You have to create an account in this. Okay, then you can actually download the dataset. So this is the glimpse of the dataset. We have seen, right, pregnancy, glucose, blood pressure, and so on. If you want to download, you can click this button. If you have account, it is going to allow you to download. Okay, that's how this thing works. You can search for any disease or whatever may be the prediction you are wishing to do. Okay. So please make sure, go and check this website Kaggle. That's how you can collect the dataset. And regarding, now I want to load this here. Since I am using Google Colab, I want to upload it here. See, I already have it. Let me remove and take it again so that you can see. So now I am going to use this upload option, and it is going to, you can open the location and select the data set. I'll refresh it. Okay, let me copy the path here. This is the path for this file. So let me create a variable dataset is equal to. So using pandas, there is an option for opening the CSV file and loading it in a variable, and that option is in the name pd.read_csv. So this will help you to read a CSV file, and in the bracket you can pass the path with name with extension to open that file. Okay, I'll do it. pd.read_csv. I'll paste the path here. Let me run this. So now I used pandas read_csv to load that CSV file diabetes in this variable dataset. Okay, now we want to check that, right, whether it is there or not. Let me just randomly print it. Okay, dataset. See here, it cannot show you the entire dataset because it is having wait a minute, sorry. So it is totally having 768 rows and 9 columns. Okay, so it is a large dataset, it cannot show entire rows. So it is giving you the first 5 rows and the last 5 rows. Okay, for a glimpse it is showing. And there are other options in pandas to analyze the data. We'll go one by one now. Is it clear regarding how to open a CSV file in Python? Is it clear, guys? Can I get a response in chat box? Regarding the assignment, if you have any doubts, you can contact me through LinkedIn or Facebook. In that group, if you are available, you can try to contact me. I'll try to sort your doubt there. Okay, I have already explained it in previous class. So if you are having any further doubt, specific doubt, you can come and ask. Okay. Okay, so we'll continue with analyzing the data. Okay, I'm going to show you 4 by 4. Okay, so I'll tell you what are the things here, and I'll show you practically. First, we'll see what these 4 options are. Once you create a dataset here, okay, in the variable dataset, I'm storing the pandas read_csv. This will create, okay, and store in this variable in the format of data frame. Okay, you can actually check that it is a data frame from pandas. So I can print what is the type of this dataset. Type of dataset. Okay, it belongs to the pandas. Okay, and it is data frame. Okay, so you can find it and see here in this dataset variable. Now you can use these options. If you use .head, it is going to show you the first 5 rows. Okay, and if you want to see the first 10, what you can do is you can pass 10 inside this parenthesis. If you mention that number, it is going to show you that much rows in the output. Okay, and if you want to do the same with the last 5 rows, you can go with .tail. Okay, and if you want to visualize any number of rows in the tail, which means from the last, you can mention that number inside the parenthesis. And if you want to get a general information about your dataset, you can go with this .info option. Okay, and I'm not using PD because using the pandas we have loaded it in this variable. Now you can call it this variable and use these options. See here, and using describe, you can actually get a statistical summary within a second. So can we try to do this, guys, in Colab? Let me go and call dataset. Okay, I'll print it. Print dataset .head. Okay, and this will give me the first 5 rows. See, guys, I'll just call it directly. Okay, so it is in a neat format, in a table format we can get in Colab. If you call head, it is going to show you the first 5 rows, and if I want the first 10, for example, whatever the number may be, there is a limit for it, and if I want 15, I can call 15 here. So it is going to show me the first 15. Okay, clear, guys? Regarding if you want to see the last, okay, from the last, you can call this dataset.tail. So this is going to show you from the last. Okay, it is default will show you the last 5, and if you specifically mention any number, it is going to show that much rows from the last. And what is the next thing we have seen? You can see that the column names, it is the same dataset, and totally it seems like there are 768 entries, and I'll call this dataset dot info. It is going to give me an information about the dataset. So we'll check what is the information. So it is giving me what it is belong to, what type it is data frame, and there are 768 entries from 0 to 767, and these are the column names. And what is the non-null count? So what is a null value? Do you guys understand what does this non-null count means? So actually null value means there is no any value present in there, which means a empty space. So you don't want any null value in your data set, which means if it is empty, it can alter the prediction. So in the later part of the session, we'll be seeing how to handle the null values. So here it is telling there are totally 768 non-null count. Non-null means an actual value is present, and it seems like totally there are 768 and all the columns have 768 non-null, which means there is no actually null value is not there. There is another way to check this also, we'll see that later. And what are the data types present in each column, you can get it here. Okay, and their memory usage and so on. This is about the info. And regarding if you want a statistical summary, you can go with the dataset.describe. So this will give you a statistical summary. Okay, so we got the column names here, but here we got some additional information, which is the count. So what is the total count, which means how many entries in each column. What is the mean value present in each column? Okay, what is the mean glucose level, what is the mean blood pressure and so on. What is the mean age, you can see, right? What is the standard deviation? What is the minimum value? What is the maximum value? And based on the percentage you can find for each columns. Okay, this is what the describe will give you a statistical summary. Clear with these four things: head, tail, info and describe. So I think we can move further, which will be the next part in analyzing the data. You can get the column names alone. Okay, so note it down, we'll be using this in this today's assignment. Okay, if you call dot columns, it is going to give you the column names alone. And if you want to get the shape of it, what is a shape? So if you ask for a shape, it is going to give you what is the shape of the data set, which means how many rows and columns. If you run this dataset dot shape, it is going to give you a tuple. What is a tuple? Remember guys, a tuple is a collection of information or items inside parenthesis, right? And it is going to give you two values. Okay, in the 0th index it will be the number of rows, and in first index it will be the number of columns. Okay, and if you go for dot d type, it is going to show you what are the data types of each column, and if you want, you can go with dot index for index informations. Clear guys? We'll try to do this. So let me get the column names along first. Okay, dataset dot columns. Okay, I'm not passing any parentheses here because this is attribute and this is method. Okay, yes, it is immutable, and I got a list of columns, right? What all the column names, I got it. Clear guys? And if I want to get the shape of it, you can go dataset dot shape, and this is going to give me a tuple, which means here I got 768 and 9, which means in the 0th index it is number of rows and 9 is the number of columns. Okay, you can count and check. This is what the shape will give you. And if you want to get the data type, you can go with dataset dot d types. Okay, in each column what is the data type, you can get it, and you can get the index information also, dot index. Okay, it's starting from 0 and ending till 768, and the step is 1. So this is what the information about these things. Clear with these four options? Can we move and see the next one? So next we'll see about, we are having many columns, right? So what if I need to select a single column and perform some operations there? So I'll tell you how to select a single column alone. Okay, can we see guys? For example, if you want to select a single column, there are two options. First one will be, you can call the name of the data set and use this dot option and call the name of the column. You can get it. And if you want to select another way, there is like we'll be accessing some list or a string with the help of index number, right? What we'll do, we'll give it inside square bracket, right? So in the same way, in the square bracket, you can pass the name of the column. This is like similarly accessing a dictionary. You will pass the name of the key, you will get a value, right? Similarly, you can pass this, you will be getting the output properly. We'll try to do these things. So what are the column names present? Let us get the glucose, okay, alone. data set, and inside I can pass this glucose. It is going to give me a single column. See here, I got that single column alone, glucose column. Otherwise you can get it like this, dot glucose. It is going to give you the same output. Okay, and now I have loaded it. Okay, what if you want multiple columns, then you can go and create another list inside this. Okay, and you can pass what are the column names, for example like this, column 1 and column 2 and so on. If you want multiple columns, you can copy and paste it, the name of it, and this will help you to create multiple columns. And if you are selecting, then if you want to store it in some other variable, you can do that also. You can set a new variable and store it, okay, like this. So we'll try to do these tasks now. Let me try to get multiple columns now. So with glucose, let me get this blood pressure and skin thickness. Okay, so you want to pass another list inside. It is a 2D list, so we'll be seeing about it later when we see NumPy in tomorrow's session. See here, I got these things alone. Whatever the column names I am calling, it is here now. So if I want to store this in a new variable, I can create new equal to or whatever the name may be. So now these columns alone are stored in this variable. Okay, so I can call this dot head. This is also a data frame, so you can perform these operations. It is a new data set. Okay, pandas new data frame in this variable. You can perform these operations, store it separately. So this is how you can select a single column, select a multiple column, and store it in a new variable. Clear, guys? And if you are selecting a single column, then you can perform these operations, which means if you are selecting a single column and you want to get what are the unique values present there, you can go and check this dot unique. So this option will give you what all the unique values present, it will return that. And one step upward, okay, one step advanced, if you want to find what all the unique value on their count, you can go with dot value underscore count. So this is going to give you how many times that thing is occurring. Okay, clear, guys? So in the outcome column, I told you, right, there are zeros and ones, and 0 means the presence of, 1 means the presence of diabetes and 0 means the absence of diabetes. So if you go with unique values, if you set that, it is going to give you 0 and 1, okay, because that are the unique values present there. If another value is present, it is going to give that also. And if you want to find how many times 0 is occurring, how many times 1 is occurring, then you can go with value underscore counts. And if you are selecting a single column, you can get the mean value and median value. Mean is the average value, median value is arranging it in the increasing order and then selecting the center value, right? So you can get it in these single columns. So we'll try to perform this operation. Let me call the outcome column alone. Let me go and get the name exactly, otherwise we will be getting error. So I'm going to select a single column. Okay, let me select a single column and pass the name inside. Outcome dot. I'm going to get what are the unique values present in that column. Okay. And it has given an array with 0 and 1, which means these two are available in that single column. In other columns you cannot try, because see here there are multiple values, then it will be a large range. Okay, like this in outcome, or for example there is another data set, or there is some another data set, right? Placement data set I shown you, right? So we'll try to do that there also later on. So there are like whatever department of students there will be there, you can get the unique value. And now I want to find how many times 1 is there, how many times 0 is there. So I can get the data set. Okay, select that single column and I go with value underscore counts. So this is going to give me, okay, we got an error. Counts is, I left the S. Okay, so it is 500 in 500 places. Okay, for 500 patients it is 0, which means the diabetes is absent, and for 268 patients it is 1, which means diabetes present. So that's what we can understand with this value underscore counts. And if you want to get a mean and median value, you can get it. Okay, let me select this glucose data, okay, column alone, and I can do it. So this will be used later on. I'll tell you where it is. Okay, when we see dot mean, this will return you a mean value, and if you want the median value, you can go and do that also. Okay, this is the median value in that particular column. These will play a key role in later on. So now I'll tell you how to create a new column in your dataset. So if you want to create a new column, then what you have to do is you can call the name of your dataset, and what will you do if you want to select a single column? You will be giving it inside square bracket, right? In similar way, you can give a new name here. So that name will be assigned for a new column, and you want to assign a value for it. You can store, if I pass it as 1, it will be 1 in all the rows in that single column. Okay. And if I want to manipulate another column and store it there, which means, for example, I'll show you practically. Let us go into our data set and we'll check what can we do. Okay, I'll tell you some example. This diabetes pedigree function is there, right? I want to create another column and I want to multiply it with 100 and store it there. So how I can do is, I can call dataset. Okay, I'll give it in the short form. Okay, DPF, diabetes pedigree function, is equal to. So I'm creating a new column and I'm storing. What I'm going to do is, I'll call the dataset, and in that dataset I'm going to call this column. Okay, so I'm calling this column. So if I run this, it will create another column with these values alone. Okay, but if I want to manipulate, I'll give like, I'll multiply it with 100 and store it in next column. So if I run this, it ran successfully. Now I'll try to get, okay, dataset.head, I'll pass 10. See here, I got a new column in the name DPF, and what has happened here is, this column, the values multiplied by 100 is present here. Can you see it, guys? So that's what done in all the rows. This is how we can create a new column. And if you want to drop a column, which means if you want to delete a column, then what you can do is you can go with dataset.drop. Okay, and inside, if you want multiple things, you can pass inside this, okay, square bracket, and there are two things you have to mention. One will be the axis. So what is this axis is? If it is a column wise action, then you want to mention axis as 1. And if it is a row wise axis, then you want to mention the axis as 0. Okay, there are two axes, one is 0 and another is 1. 0 will be like row wise action and 1 will be column wise action. Since I want to drop these columns, I am selecting that column name and I am passing as 1. Okay, that columns will be dropped. And what is this? In place equal to true. This is must, you want to mention it in such cases. Okay, I'll tell you an example. If you want to change your entire data set, which means you are having this in this variable data set, right? You are having a variable data set and you are having that data set in that variable. And you want to drop these columns, and these columns shouldn't be there in this variable itself, which means the entire thing, if you want to change, you can go with in place equal to true. If you don't mention this, then even if you drop it, when you try to load this data set, it won't be updated there. Okay, so when can you use without this in place means, if you are creating a new variable, okay, by creating a new data set, we have done, right? You are dropping these columns and storing it in a new variable, then you can go with in place. You don't want to mention that. Okay, you can keep it false or you can leave it. If you want to change your entire data set, then you can go with in place equal to true. Okay, so we'll try to drop the columns. So for example, I'll tell you, I'll remove these two columns. Okay, data set, I want to use the drop option, dot drop. So now I am going to remove these columns. So how will we remove that? So inside I want to pass, okay, the name of the columns. So let it be the outcome column. I'm just doing it for our understanding. Okay, and since I have manipulated this, I don't want it here, so I'll copy that also. I'll paste it. Okay, these two columns, I don't need it now. So I'm going to remove it, and I want to mention, since it's a column wise action, I'll mention axis is equal to 1. And if I'm creating a new variable and dropping and storing this, then I don't want to mention the in place. If I want to change this dataset variable itself, then I can go with in place equal to true. Okay, and the assignment to upload link, it will be there in the previous session. And now I'll run this head again. And these two columns are disappeared, right? Because we have used in place equal to true, it has changed our data set, and that columns have been removed entirely. This is how we can remove a column And if you want to drop some rows, you can go, but you want to mention the index number, okay? You can use drop option, and this is a row wise action, right? Then you want to mention the axis as 0. And if you want to change the entire data set, you can go with in place equal to true. We'll try to drop the 0 and 1, okay? For example, dataset dot drop, and I want to mention what all the index number 0, 2, axis as 0, in place equal to true. Now I'll run this dataset. See here, it is having 0, 1, 2 and 3. We'll try to run this again, okay? See here, the 0 and 2 are disappeared because I have deleted that rows, okay? Whatever number you are mentioning will be deleted. Clear, guys? So we have done about we have completed about analyzing the data. Okay, guys. Next will be the data pre-processing. So how can you check for null values or duplicate values, how to handle those? So we have completed half of the pandas session. So this will be the next half, and once we complete that, I'll go into the next assignment, okay? So in the end, I'll be telling you the assignment 3. So please make sure you attend the class till end and listen these things, okay? So we'll go into the data pre-processing part. Can we go, guys? Can we go into data pre-processing? So data cleaning or pre-processing means fixing unwanted or improper data, okay, in your data set. As I told you earlier, every data is important in machine learning part, okay? Any inaccuracy or missing value or duplicate or irrelevant data can change our accuracy, okay? So it can make the data more like it can create many problems in the machine learning part. So it is important to make sure you have the data set without any errors. So for that, you can check it with the help of pandas. We are going to check whether our data set is correct or not, and if it is not correct, we are going to do pre-processing. So first will be checking the null values. So what is a null value? I told you earlier. So null value is an empty space in your data set, and if it is available there, it can alter your prediction. So it is important to remove this null value. So before that, you need to know how many null values is there in which column and in all those details. So to get the null values, you can call the data set and go with dot is null. Okay, I'll show you this alone and I'll explain you about this dot sum later on. Dataset dot is null. I'm going to run this. See here. And I got true and false statement, okay? It is boolean in all the rows and columns. See here, guys, but I cannot go and see everything, right? So it is telling false, which means I am checking whether it is null. If it is null, it is going to show true in that place. If it is false, then it is going to, what is happening? It is showing false because there is no null value in these places, and I cannot go and see everywhere, right? So what I am doing, I am going to use this dot sum option here. It will sum up, and it is going to give me the count, and it seems like there are no null values in this entire data set. In all the columns, I am having 0. So this will be in the assignment. Please make sure you are listening this. Okay, it is going to give you the null value, and it is summing up and giving it to us. Okay, so let me take another data set where there is a null value. Okay, I'll upload another data set. This is a placement data set. You can find it in Kaggle or any other website. I'll create a new variable. Dataset 2 is equal to pd.read underscore csv. I'll paste the path here. Loaded. Let us check the head first. The first 5 rows. This is a student placement data set. It contains the gender, what is the board they have studied, okay, what is the degree they have got, all these things, okay, finally the status and the salary column. Okay, guys, and see here in the salary column I can find a value in the name NAN. this NaN, which means null value. So actually I can see a null value here in the first 5 row itself, but I don't know how many null values is in this data set. Okay, so it means like for the students who are not placed, it is actually NaN, but we are going to do something for this. I cannot leave it like this. So what I am going to do, I'll call dataset 2.isNull. I'll run this now, and you can see true in this place. It is third index. See here. In the third index, see here, I got a true here because this place is a null value. Can you see it? These both are same. Okay, so to sum up, I'll go with dot sum, and it gave me all these columns have no null values, but this salary column is alone having 67 null values. Clear? We got a null value in this column. 67 null values are present in this column. So now you can find, okay, if I give you a data set, you can check whether a null value is present or not, and if there is present, you can find how many null values present. Okay. So regarding the value counts, I told you, right, we'll try to check what all the degrees present here. So what I'm going to do, I'll call dataset 2 dot, okay, I need to select a single column, and I'll go with dot value underscore counts. Okay, see here there are 113 commerce students, 91 science students, and 11 art students. How we got it? We can select that single column and go with value counts. You can perform all these tasks in any data set. Okay, and now you know how to find whether null values is present or not, and you can find how many null values present. So here comes the next task. What you are going to do with that null value? How are you going to handle it? Regarding handling the null value, there are two ways you can do it. One will be imputation and another one will be dropping. Imputation means manipulating, okay, and there is some option known as dropping. So there are options for these two, but how will you decide which you are going to do? For example, I told you, right, imagine this case, okay, this is a use case. Imagine you are having a data set with 10,000 rows, okay, totally there are 10,000 rows, and each data is important for machine learning, but when you check for null value, there are nearly like below 50 null values is present. In that 10,000 rows, 50 rows, in some places, 50 places null value is present. So in such case, even if you remove that 50, you will be left with a lot, right? Okay, so you will be left with a lot, then this won't affect anything, okay? This can be done. You can drop those values if it is not important. Or in some cases, you are actually you'll be having some data set which is not good, but you are having some 200 rows totally, and there are 50 null values. You cannot remove that. Okay, if you go with dropping, what it will do, it will remove that entire row. If I have one null value in some single column in that row, it will take that entire row. Okay, in such case you cannot drop it. You can go with imputation, which means doing some mathematical or statistical thing to manipulate the data. So how will you manipulate it? Okay, first I'll tell you with manipulation. Dataset.fillNA. So fillNA means null value. Fill means fill that null places. So wherever null place is there, I can pass some random number, okay, or value, and I am setting in place equal to true. So it will set that. Okay, it will change the entire data set. We'll try. Dataset 2 dot fill NA, and for example I am going to set 0. Okay, I am setting 0 in the salary column, so I can select that single column. I'll go with this one. Salary column alone is having the null value, right? So I'll go with salary fill NA in place is equal to true. Okay, so now I have loaded this value, whatever I am mentioning will be replaced there. Okay, so I can check it. I'll go with dot head option. See here, this place got 0. How it got? It had null value, right? NaN. Now it got replaced. So you can check with again whether null value is present. It is going to give you 0 because all the null values have been filled with this value. You cannot directly give 0. This is for example I am showing. This place you can pass any value which will be replaced. Okay. Now what I am going to do, I'll reload my data set in this variable so that I will be having null value again. I got the null value. I'll check how many null count. It is 67 in the salary column. So now what I am going to do, I can do these options. We already know how to find the mean value or median value, and you can also get the mode value. Mode is the most repeating one. Okay, you can use these options and you can pass these variable here. Okay, you can actually give a average salary. Okay, so for the students who are not placed, you can give this can be their average salary like that. For example, I am telling. So what I can do, I can create a variable and do, or I can directly pass. I'll get this column. In this column, what is the average value? I'll give it mean. Okay, so that mean value will be placed here. Okay, first let me get you what this mean value is so that we can check. So this is the mean value, mean salary. Okay, so now if I refresh this, I'll run it again. That mean value is placed here. Okay, whatever null value is there, wherever it will be replaced, and you can check the count, it will be gone. Okay, so this is how you can manipulate. You can do all these things, or if you find some other value, you can pass it. Whatever you are passing here in this fill NA, and if you pass in place equal to true, it is going to change entirely. And next one will be drop NA. Similarly, I told you, right, in some cases you can actually drop those if it is not that much important. This is going to drop that entire row, and you can pass in place equal to true. Okay, and let me reload my dataset once again so that I'll be regaining this null values. I'll load it using get function. See here, null values there. Let me go for the count. It is 67. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to drop those values. Dataset 2 dot drop NA and in place equal to true. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'll check the null value count. It is 0 now, so I want to find how it is like. See here, now the third index is there which contains null value. So if I refresh this, I won't find that entire row. See here, that third index entirely gone. So wherever null values, okay, in 67 places there are null values, right? All those places have been removed now. Okay, that entire row will be removed. That's what the use of drop NA is. Okay, and next we'll be checking for duplicates. Like duplicate values can, in machine learning, what it can do, it can add a weight over there, it can alter the prediction. So for that you can check for null duplicate value. You can go with dot duplicated. I'll show you. Dataset 2 dot duplicated. Okay, it is giving me a boolean, so I'll go with dot sum. So it is 0 actually. Here there is no duplicate value, but if you are having a duplicate value, okay, then what you can do is you can go with dropping those duplicates. Duplicates is additional value, same thing, right? In that case you can drop it with the help of drop underscore duplicates, and if you want to change the entire data set, you can go with in place equal to true. Clear, guys? So that's what about this pandas. I hope you have learned a lot regarding the pandas, right guys? We have seen about analyzing the data. Index number are not missing. Okay, actually that entire row is removed, which means that index with index along all the column in that single row have been removed, that data. Okay, it will remove that. If, for example, if I am having a null value any of this column, it is going to remove that entire row. Okay, that record entirely will be removed. Can we see about assignment 3? Clear, guys? Till now regarding pandas, we have seen about pre-processing, analyzing the data, how to handle null values. So in tomorrow's session we are going to see about NumPy library, okay, which is another important tool. So can we see about assignment 3? I'll explain you the rules along with hint. With that we can wind up today's session. So I'll tell you what the assignment 3 is now. Okay, pandas with voice command. So you are going to use a data set. It is your wish, okay, but you are going to use it with the help of voice command, which means we have done in previous class, right? In that way you want to take your audio input, okay, and you want to perform these tasks. Like if you should give predefined commands. Like if you ask for column names, it should show you the column names. How can you get a column name? I'll explain you in next slide. I'll show you a hint. And if you ask for null value, it should check and give you the output of null value. If you ask for shape of the data set, it should give that. Okay, if you ask about a glimpse or glance, okay, it should give you the first few rows. You can set it. Clear guys? How will you do this? With the help of pandas you can do. And for using this you can use input option, voice command. I'll give you a hint. Use speech recognition library to convert your audio into text and create respective tasks. Okay, for each task you can create functions. To check the column name, you can first load the dataset and get your voice input. So whatever you are telling in a loop, it should run. If you ask for column names, it should give that output. Okay, how will you get a column name? You can go with dataset.columns, right? And for checking null value, you can pass isNull.sum. And for shape of data, you can go with .shape. And if you want first few rows, you can go with dataset.head. Clear guys? So I hope this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, you can. This is very easy guys. So if you got that, you can do this very simple. So for that you should practice how to get your voice input and how to connect it. These are the things little bit tricky. And watch the last few sessions recording. You can get it. Okay, it's available in YouTube. You can see this in today's class also. See about all these things. Load a dataset, download one, load a dataset. I have told you how to download a dataset also, right? So you can load a dataset, and if you ask these things, it should show you the output. If you are interested, you can go with the like Jarvis. You can ask it to speak the output also. If you ask for column names, you can use a for loop and pass one by one so that it will speak like one by one column names. So based on your interest, you can do it. So regarding the output, it is your choice. Okay, it can be a speech or normal output. So it is normal output will be easy, but speech output is also easy. You want to create one function with pyttsx3 and you can set the engine in it, and whenever you are calling, it is going to speak that, right? It's easy guys, you can do it. This will be the pandas with voice command. You are going to just do these 4 tasks, and if you ask, it should do it in a while loop, and if you ask to terminate, it should terminate. That's it. Clear guys? Regarding the assignment 3, this will be an interesting one. You can perform it. Again, I'll tell you, use speech recognition. You can see the previous class recording in day before class. In day 13, we have seen right Jarvis, and before that class, I told you how to get voice command. Okay, using speech recognition, how to convert it into a text. Once you convert it into a text, you can store it in a variable. And using conditional statement, you can check for any of these things. Okay, 4 things. Whether it can be you cannot give this entire sentence. You can give column names. If you tell that, it is going to recognize it, and it is going to pass you to the function which tell the column names. How will you get the column names? You can go with dataset.columns. Okay, so map these things and do these tasks with pandas with voice command. And what is the time limit we can give? By Monday evening you should complete it. Before that, okay, try to complete. Okay, so that's it guys. Thank you, thanks for watching. We'll see you in tomorrow's class. We have 5 days left. We'll try to make the most of it.